This is actually a new test track. It may look kind of boring, but it's a new test track. So we're going to do the test rides video on it. And I actually did this last week with a friend of mine. And he's actually coming back next week. So this is a Carrot Photo GTX, and it is a sports car. So let's test drive this thing out. Surprised this is even a sports car. It should be a compact. First car of the day, and I still wouldn't recommend this. This is the Carrot Photo. I think I've test driven this before, and I still wouldn't recommend it to this day. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be the Coil Cyclone. So now we've got the Coil Cyclone as a test ride this week. This is an electric car, so I probably would already say no, but let's just test drive this anyway in case I change my mind. Okay, so I feel like the braking could be better on this car. The acceleration, I really like the acceleration on this car. This car is quite fast. It looks good. I actually kind of like the looks of the car. The fact that it's electric kind of bothers me. But anyway, would I recommend this car? Probably yes. I would recommend it. This car's been on the podium multiple times, so if you haven't won it yet, I would still probably recommend it. And if I haven't said anything about the Photo GTX, I would say about that car, don't get it because it's a front wheel drive. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this is the OB10F. Let's test this thing out. This is fairly new for a car, so this will be interesting. Okay, so the 10F. It is great. I honestly really like this car. This car performs well. It looks well. Well, great. Braking is excellent. The acceleration is excellent, and the turning is also excellent. I may have fell off at the end. You might have seen that, but I fell off on the end. But still, I still think this car performs pretty well. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be the uber-mentioned Xenon Classic. Uber-mentioned Xenon Classic, so let's take this thing for a spin. I got high doubts about this car. Okay, so I may have fallen off the edge, but I don't know why, but I actually would say I would recommend this car. This car actually performs pretty well. I think this might be a front wheel drive, but, you know, I mostly buy cars off their looks, and I kind of like the look of this car. It has excellent acceleration, it has good looks, I guess, and I bet when you upgrade this car, it would look even better. So, yes, I probably would recommend the uber-mentioned Xenon Classic. So, let's move on to the next one. So, this car is the GT500, sports classic car, so let's test this thing out. I've actually got high expectations for this car because I actually quite like the look of it. So, let's test it. So overall, what do I think of this car? I think this car is great. I still would recommend it. I think it might be a car from the Heist DLC, the original Heist, but yeah, I would recommend the GT500. So let's move on to the next one, which is gonna be the Turismo Classic. Okay, we've got the Turismo Classic. Let's test this thing out. Okay, so the Turismo Classic ain't a bad car, and this is a sports classic car, by the way. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, I would probably recommend this car. It looks kind of nice. I do like the classic cars, but yeah, it takes quarters well, it accelerates well. Everything is pretty good on this car, but Yeah, I guess the only thing I could probably say that's maybe not as good as you think it is maybe the brakes. I don't think I like the brakes that much, but let's move on to the next one. And this will be the last sports classic car of this video. This is the Ocelot Swinger. Let's take this thing for a test drive. Okay, I really like this car. Some part of me really wants to buy it, so yeah, I'd recommend it. I like the way it turns. It can only just take quarters well. It can only just take quarters well, but yeah, I'd recommend this car. Let's move on to the next one. Cool. Let's test this thing out. It's called the Vapid Desert Raid, but it's also known as the trophy truck. So let's just test this thing out. Okay, so would you believe me when I say this? I don't actually own this vehicle. So it'd be great if I could win this from the podium. But yeah, this I would absolutely try winning from the podium vehicle. Or if not, I would recommend it because it's still a really good looking off-road car. Yeah, this is off-road. Anyway, it turns great. I really like the way it turns. I haven't really tried the braking, but I'd assume that would be alright too, right? But there's one big thing I haven't tested yet. This is an off-road car. So how does it perform off-road? It performs pretty well. Now we've got the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire. This is a muscle car, so you guys know how I feel about muscle cars. But let's test this thing out. Okay, so I may have thrown myself off the edge, but this vehicle does not perform corners very well. So, for that reason, I'd say no. But, I base cars off of looks, right? So, do I like the look of this car? Yeah, I kind of like the look of this car. I'd assume the brakes should be pretty well considering it's got pretty bad turning. But yeah, for once I actually do like a muscle car. So would I recommend this? I'm gonna have to say no, actually. I don't know what it is, but no, I would not recommend this car because it can't take corners very well. And that does matter in a car. So, no, I would not recommend this car. Let's move on to the next one, which is gonna be the Vappuccino. And the last muscle car. But just say that I don't really want to recommend this car right now because I wouldn't recommend this car even if this car was the best car in the game. But let's just test drive it anyway. No. Contender. This is a SUV, so I don't really have anything against SUVs. It's mainly just muscle cars and bikes, but yeah, I'm looking forward to test driving this one. Yeah, let's test drive it. Edit it in now. Okay, so would I recommend this thing? Probably. It's probably really cheap. Yeah, I probably could recommend it. It's an SUV. I don't mind them. Okay, I don't mind SUVs, but does it turn well? Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I feel like this car would go better off-road, but anyway, yes, I would recommend this car. I think it turns alright, but it needs to brake. The brakes definitely perform pretty well, so it kind of makes up for it in the brakes, but yeah, I would absolutely recommend this car. Let's move on to the last car of the day, which is going to be the Pagasi Avoca. I hope I pronounced that right. The Avoca. I really hope I pronounced that right. So let's just test drive this thing out. Okay, so it can't take corners well, unfortunately. I have to say it. I can't say this car takes corners well. So for that reason, no, I would not recommend this car. But for looks alone, this car actually don't look that half bad. Uh, I don't know how the brakes perform, but I'd assume they perform alright. Like usually, this whole time when we've been test driving cars today, um, when the turning has been not great, it's usually made up for it in the braking. So I'd say yes, it would probably be really good with the braking, but with the turning, no. Looks, yes. I would absolutely recommend this. I would probably recommend this car. Yeah, yeah, I would absolutely recommend this car. For its looks alone. For its turning, no. But for its looks, yes. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up the video. If you guys enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and see you guys in the next one. Bye!